tell King I'm disappointed. Take the best pictures. That's it.
All right, Coach, you ready?
I'm ready.
Folks, here we are at the Good Eatin in Byram, Mississippi. This is the South 78 Football Show. I'm your host, Trellis Williams, alongside Coach Chris Thigpen of the Terry Bulldogs. Big week, Coach, obviously. It is the playoffs. They are here.
That's right.
And you guys are heading down to Pascagoula once again, just like last year, to take on the Pascagoula Panthers. They're a team that they've been hot as of recent. They've done well. They've won some football games. Your team in better shape than you were at the end of last year, just with a lot of guys out. And so definitely looking forward to this first-round matchup. What are your thoughts, and how is the team looking right now?
Well, my thoughts, I'm looking at it. I'm glad we're in the playoffs. I'm glad we have opportunity to continue our season. We have a matchup that I think, we match up well versus this team. There are a lot of similarities between the both of us. I'm kind of disappointed in the way we played overall last Thursday versus Hattiesburg. I thought in the second half we played a little bit better than we did in the first half. First half we were kind of a little shell-shocked. We gave, I think, when I go back 28 points away, we threw a pick six. We had two bad snaps on punt.
Yeah.
That gave them a short field, and then they scored their first drive. So, and then I didn't think we played our best game. And so hopefully, this Friday when we go down to Pascagoula, we're much prepared for, what that atmosphere will be like. We've played down there before. We watched the film from last year. We know where we made those mistakes. This team is not as explosive offensively as they were last year. Last year had a very special guy at quarterback who's now on the roster at USM. He also played in the All-Star game with us in the Bernard Blackwell game last year. Silas Quarter, very, very good. They ended up moving their starting inside linebacker to quarterback this year. So they're a little bit different offensively. Defensively, they still try to fly to the football. They got some really good athletes on that side of the football. And so, as a team, we're just trying to make sure we play to our strengths and we don't hurt ourselves, whether it's special teams or turnovers. And I think, when you play to your strengths and you don't hurt yourselves, you give yourself a chance to win games.
Let's talk about that Hattiesburg game, Coach. Obviously, not what you wanted to see. You went down 34-0. You ended up starting to make a comeback. It was 34-21 at one point in time, and it was starting to get interesting there. And then they made a couple scores to win the ball game. Now, obviously, this Tigers team, you guys aren't the only ones that they've done this to. I mean, they're on a 6-game winning streak right now.
That's right.
Or 7-game winning streak rather. They started off 1-2. Now they're 8-2. They win the region, so they're in good shape, Coach. But as far as your team is concerned, what did you take away from that game as far as just how you guys responded to Hattiesburg's attack? Because Hattiesburg came in sharp.
Well, that kind of, once we settled down, we played well. Like you said, we could play with anybody when we don't press too much. And then as head coach, I go back and I think, was I putting too much pressure on the team from, hey, this is a district, this is a region championship games, first time since 2006. And I think our anxiety level to start the game off was more than it ever was, at any point of the season. They did a lot of taunting before the game that I think our guys we weren't prepared for from a psychological standpoint. They ran down on our end before the game, taunted our whole team, and I'm like, man, this could go either way. Like, never in 16 years, and I told the official, I said, never in 16 years I've seen a team do that. And, I had some choice words for the officials. I had some choice words for, the Hattiesburg side. And I think that might have kind of, spooked everybody from a playing standpoint, from a psychological disposition standpoint. And it took us to the second half to kind of realize, like, okay, let's settle down and play. But by that time, the lead had got out there. The game had kind of got away from us. But you got to give them a lot of credit. They came ready to play. They did all this stuff. They backed it up in the first half. Like you said, they're on a 7-8 game winning streak. And they still have a really good team. They were really good last year. They're really good this year. They have some really good playmakers on that side. And we're just trying to go 1-0 this week so we can give ourselves a chance the following week to go play them again.
That's right. That's the situation that it would be. And, Coach, you've done this before 2 years ago.
Right.
You were taking on George County, and you were the underdog in that situation. Arguably maybe more of an underdog then than even now.
Yeah.
And, facing off against a quarterback in Deuce Knight that actually had a really good game. They were able to beat him anyway. And then face the number one team in your region in West Jones at that time.
That's right.
So this is something that could happen again. But, Coach, what is the focus? Because you were talking about how, preparing for the Hattiesburg game. What's the change in approach to this one? Because obviously all your players know how big of a game this is. It's the playoffs.
It's the playoffs, but like you said, we have to go on the road. We have to beat another good team on the road, on the coast, probably as far south in Mississippi as you could go. I think the weather would be nice, but, our focus is, when you go into any game, you got to play this time of the year. You got to play at a high level, and you can't make the type of mistakes that'll put you behind because, my coaching philosophy in high school is there are more games lost than won. And so when you're making turnovers, you don't get stops, you're bad on special teams, that's not a good formula, for winning high school football games. We have enough talent on both sides of football at every position to play well, play at a high level, and to execute and give ourselves a chance to win the game. And so up front, we got to play well up front. They have some really explosive skill guys. Their running back is very good at Pascagoula. They have a receiver that's really good at Pascagoula. Two receivers is really good. And on defense, their secondary guys are fast. And up front, they play hard. So, a typical 6A playoff team. So, I was talking to one of my coaches today, and we were talking about how small of a margin of error it is now that you're in the playoffs. And so, like you said, 2 years ago, we go on the road and play a 2 seed that got a Superman at quarterback, and we find a way to win the game. And that's what it's going to have to come down to this Friday is giving yourself a chance, putting yourself in position to win the game and finding a way to win the game, whether it's on special teams, getting a stop on defense, extending the drive on offense, or scoring in the red zone when you're down there and you have the opportunity to.
And we saw a lot of good things from Rondé Baker there against Hattiesburg, especially there in that third quarter. Mm-hmm. And he was able to get 2 touchdowns of his own. How's he looking right now? Because to me, he's looking about as good as he has all season right now, which is a great time to be looking good.
Right. Well, last game he had 27 carries, which is the most he's ever had all season. And, people kind of say we had a down game. He went 27 for 161. I think that's still 5 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns is a great day for
that sounds like it looked like a pretty terrible day,
so,
right?
But he did well, but also our offensive line, gave him that opportunity. And then, again, going on the road, I think that's what'll help us this Friday is that group we have up front. I believe a lot in how they play and how they've gelled over the season. With the production of our run game, our total offense right now, I think we're up almost 600 or 700 yards from where we were last year at this point, which is a testament to our players and coaches. And so, the proof is in the pudding for us. We've improved in every statistical category. So those are things as a coach you look at, and it's showing up on the field. So whether it's Rondé running the football, Cole Reed, or Brandon Duplessis, our run game has been very good. And then this year, we're throwing the ball more efficiently than we were last year. Brady didn't have a great game this past week, but overall this year, his numbers are up, um, and the wealth of that production has been spread around with Braden Gibson, Manny Harris, Kobe George, and guys like that. So.
Yep. Definitely. So, Coach, when you talk about this team right here going into this game, I think you guys are in a better position as far as injuries are concerned. Kind of give us an update on how these guys are doing. Some of these guys that are a little banged up. The thing is, though, Coach, is that in the playoffs, almost every team's banged up to a certain level. I mean, you've been playing a full season.
Right.
But just give us a little bit of an update on some of your guys.
Chadarius Rogers didn't play versus Hattiesburg, and he really
that.
wanted to. One of a guy who I'm very, very proud of, because he did nothing throughout his career but whatever we asked him to do.
Yep.
He worked hard. He didn't complain. And he's having a great senior year this year, but he wasn't able to play last week. We're going to try to give him a go this Friday. He practiced today. He's battling a groin injury. So, Keeson Kendrick is questionable at this point. That's another starter.
Yeah, we saw that he sat out for the rest of the game.
Right, he's questionable, and so. But other than that, we pretty much got everybody ready to go, and the guys that we have in those spots are guys that's already had playing experience. So it's not like we're just throwing someone in who haven't had reps all year.
And that's a good thing. So, Coach, another question for you. So, 3-hour trip down to Pascagoula.
Yeah.
Now, what is the look here? Are we going to be seeing a band come down? Are we going to be seeing what are we talking about here, Coach?
Yeah, we'll have band, we'll have cheer. Hopefully, we'll have enough fans, but
all hands on deck.
Yeah, all hands on deck. But it is a long trip for us. But this is high school. This is what high school football in Mississippi should be all about. When I was playing in high school, we took a trip to the coast, and we played a South State championship game at Gulfport High School. We played a team down there that used to be called St. John's, but I'll forever remember that. So I want to give our players that type of memory in their high school career. When you go on this long road trip, you got the odds really stacked against you, and you got to go beat a team on their home field. It'll stick with you a lifetime. And so, but it also, as I told the team, it gives you a chance to extend your season. And we want to be playing. We want to play more. Okay, this is when you want to be playing football. And so I told someone today, you win this week, next week, the teams that are played next week are the true contenders, because you'll be down to the Final Four in the South and the Final Four in the North in 6A.
That's right.
And so, we've been close. We've been there before in 23. And so every year you want to contend. I heard one coach I really, really respect a whole lot, and Marcus Boyle say, a long time ago, realistically, you can't win it every year, but every year you want to be able to contend. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get our program to from a football standpoint. Every year we're in contention. So
definitely. And folks, look, Terry's taking on Pascagoula on the road down at War Memorial Stadium in Pascagoula, Mississippi. We'll be down on the coast. Folks, if you can't make the trip, you got to check it out on the TSJW Network. It'll be right here. We'll be bringing it to you live from down there on the coast. Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
All right, thank you, Trellis.
The South 78 Football Show continues on, and it is brought to you by the Good Eatin right here in Byram, Mississippi. And folks, we appreciate you joining us. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button to the TSJW Network YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. I'm going to check this out real quick. Make sure we're rolling. We are. All right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You probably just move that mic a little closer to your mouth there.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, folks, I am right here with Elizabeth Stamp. She's been doing a lot of good media work here for the Terry Bulldogs, for the football side, just doing some good interviews and all that
Yes,
kind
sir.
of stuff. So, listen, how did you get into doing media? How did you get into doing some media?
Okay, so I started out with my own sports media platform entitled Stamped In Media. I started doing things with Jackson State when Coach Deion Sanders was there. So
Okay.
I started off at that time, then ventured out, to other college athletes, different pro level sports, as well as different other high school athletics. So then I decided, why not try to come back to Terry High School, which is my hometown. I have a lot of family, that's where they grew up at. And I felt like, why not, come back and give back here, just as you are doing as well. So, yeah.
For sure, for sure. So coming back to Terry, did you go to Terry?
I didn't go to Terry. I went to Murrah High School.
Okay, but you have a lot of family from the
A
area.
lot of family.
Okay, yes, most definitely. So, and you say you did some work there, Jackson State, while Coach Prime was there. Talk about kind of what you did there with him while he was coaching.
So when I started with Coach Prime, I was an equipment manager. So of course,
Okay.
that's what you can't have a game or you can't
That's
produce
right.
practices without an equipment team. So I started out doing that, and then I started, telling him about my media aspiration and everything, and he really helped me with that. Game day picks. It started out like that. Simple NFL game day picks or something of that nature.
Awesome.
And, he started to critique me on different videos and everything that I had to do, different photography things that I did. And, it just went from there. So he really inspired me, to keep going and just keep chasing my media aspiration and dreams. And, he still does until this day. So.
Okay, that is really cool. So what are you talk about your aspirations? What are some of your goals moving forward?
So I have my own athlete marketing agency entitled the SIP Project. So a lot of my Terry athletes are in that. It's made up of athletes all across the state of Mississippi, but a lot of Terry athletes as well. So I try to teach athletes, it's just not about what you do on the field or the court or the track, whatever it is. It's about what you do as far as your character, the involvement, and everything that you have. So that's one thing that I focus on. I really want to grow that, and I also want to continue to just, help give those athletes the exposure that they deserve.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a lot of good athletes here at Terry.
We do.
And just being able to be involved with the football program, sometimes the team gets overlooked a little bit, and that's why you want to get big wins like this week in particular. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
Elizabeth Stamps right here, and again, shout out your platforms. And go ahead and shout out your platforms.
Okay, so my platforms are Stamped In Media. You can find it on social media on Instagram at Stamped In Media, and the SIP Project, which is on Instagram and Facebook as well. And of course, my things are collab with Terry High School football team. So a lot of the things that you see on there, it may not be on my page, but it's on the football page. So thank you, and thank you again for your platform as well. Being able to give me the opportunity.
For sure, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
And folks, the South 78 Football Show continues on. It is brought to you by the Good Eatin here in Byram, Mississippi. I did. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, I totally. Yeah. I'm looking at you. I totally recognize you. So what year?
I graduated in.
Yeah. Okay, so you're up on me. I graduated.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Came graduated, and played football the first couple of years, and I made the transition to coaching.
Man, that's awesome. That's crazy. I put two and two together.
I thought about it last year, and I said, no. I looked again, I said, no, you went to MC, man. I remember.
That's right. All right, folks, I'm here with Coach Carter here for the Terry Bulldogs. Appreciate you joining us, man.
You, man.
Definitely, and we were just talking before, that we were both at Mississippi College together as you were on the football team.
Yes, sir.
So it's awesome to be able to talk to you here. So listen, this team is in the playoffs once again, third straight season, 8-2 record, the best record since 2006. Heading down to Pascagoula again.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts, and how do the guys look so far this week going into this game?
So, speaking from an offensive line perspective, last year definitely hurt. And I don't know if it's just me, I hold grudges, but I can't get over a loss like that.
Yeah.
And I think my injury kind of transferred to the guys. So, even guys that we've got that came to Terry for the first time to play, they're ready like they was there last year. And I think you know, we've been trying to. My motivation every week is to be the most aggressive team on the field, to be dominant, set the new line of scrimmage every week, and we've been implementing that in practice, and we've done a pretty decent job so far. I think we're pretty well in our run game, but I just been trying to instill that in them, and they're responding. So far this week, we look good, we look put together, and that's my biggest part, making sure that every piece fits together when it comes to offensive line, because you're coaching the most people on the field at the same time.
That's right.
Honestly. So just getting them to, buy into the program and implement all the new things we've installed. I'm excited. They're excited. If we could hit the road tomorrow, they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
100%. So, Coach, when you talk about your role with the offensive line, because, listen, those guys have done a great job this year, because you have a great running back, obviously. But the thing is, the line has to create those holes for your great running back to be able to move through. Also, the protection of the passer. I mean,
yes, sir.
Brady Busby, he's had relatively clean pockets this year. Probably the toughest one was probably last week against a very tough Hattiesburg defensive line. But overall, he's had a good pocket this year. Talk about the work that's been put in with those guys to get them ready to be able to protect the way that they have.
Well, it honestly starts at a base level. So even in late spring, early summer, we were talking about implementing new pass protections and breaking down the pass game to them, breaking down the concepts of pass pro, just so they understand it almost at an elementary level, like to the point where it's like muscle memory, reflexes. But it's honestly just been drilling and making sure we have our everyday drills, making sure that we have every piece that we need to make sure that happens. So if that's playing with an H-back, playing with a tight end, we want to make sure that we can protect Brady and set a new line of scrimmage at all times when needed. And I feel like just our involvement as far as, because I'm not by myself with the offensive line. I never take 100% credit. I have been by myself for the last couple of years, but Coach Metters, our quality control coach, he's the offensive line guy. So anything that I may miss, he's right there. And it's just both of us working and implementing the smallest things that matter, whether it's your stance or not giving away keys when you get in your stance, not always being in 2-point or being in 3-point, being able to maneuver, and also having guys that are very versatile that can play any position on the O-line. So every guy that's out there right now can play any single one if I needed to. So just creating that depth, creating that understanding, I feel like that's been a major contributor to our success.
That's a big thing to have the versatility among the guys like that. Talk about this game. You took on Hattiesburg last week. Going into the game, there's a lot of hype around it. Hattiesburg was able to win the ball game, and you're talking about a team that's really in good shape right now at Hattiesburg. They're coming off a really good year, and they look better to me than they even did last year in some ways. And, you could give or take. You don't know. Maybe say they were 13-1 last year, so it's hard to say. But kind of just talk about what the reaction is to that and how you guys as a coaching staff are getting your guys right for next week. Because look, you're able to pull off a win this week, you're probably going to just play them again.
Yes, sir.
And
that's the goal.
Nobody's going to care about last week,
right? When
you play them again.
And that's been the whole thing, getting them to because of course nobody likes to lose, obviously. But just getting them to understand, hey, what was done last week is done last week. We get a second chance, and a lot of times in life you don't get a second chance to do things. I treated this week the same way as related to the last year. I told the guys, anytime you get a chance to do something twice in life, you got to make sure the second time you make it the best chance. So just having that grit about us, and I even now in coaching and talking about it, even in the interview, I'm getting fired up because we thrive off of energy. We thrive off get back. We thrive off getting our chance to let everybody know that last week was a fluke, and we're going to get a chance. We're going to go out there and execute the best we can. So we're not overlooking Pascagoula by any means, but we know what it takes to get to next week, and that's what we've been instilling since Friday of last week.
Absolutely. Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, and the South 78 football show continues on. That was Coach Carter, offensive line coach for this Terry Bulldogs football team. And the South 78 football show is brought to you by the Good Eatin here in Byram, Mississippi. We're going to be joined by Coach Nelson, who is now the head coach at Mount Olive High School. He'll be joining with us now. But, folks, he was the offensive coordinator right here at Terry when I started doing the broadcasting. And so we've had him on the South 78 football show before. And, Coach Nelson, we appreciate you returning.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
For a guest appearance here on the South 78 football show. Coach, you're there at Mount Olive, and
Yes,
you've taken over a team that's in a position where they're trying to do a rebuild, and you've been shown the first steps of the rebuild this year. We've seen that. Talk about your team. Talk about your program.
Man, so yes, I'm at Mount Olive High School, and man, this year we went 2-8. Showed a lot of improvement. And like you said, man, it's been a total rebuild.
Yep.
Love the community, love the school. Got a ton of athletes, but just trying to go in and kind of change the culture. Like I said last year, man, it was a pretty rough year, man. We went 0-10. We got shut out about 6 games. You know, we took a lot of whoopings. You know what I mean? But this year, man, we've shown some tremendous progress. You know, for us to win 2 games this year, we was in a lot of our games as well. So
that's good too.
Out of all our games, man, we was either up or tied at halftime. It was just one game where we just got completely dominated. That was Amite County. And I think they got
pretty good team.
Yeah, and I think they got a chance to be in 2A South. Like, that's a good football team.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, my guys are completing. And I was just telling Coach Washington when I looked at that film, now it's kind of starting to look like a Eric Nelson coach football team. You know, with some of the stuff that we do on offense and the guys with the second year being in the system, everything is starting to look better. We just still young. I played a lot of ninth graders.
That's a good thing, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, so the thing is, I kind of know I'm gonna take my lumps now, but I played a lot of ninth graders, playing 12 ninth graders. So, you know, and those guys, they're a talented group. They just young. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really looking forward to what the future holds. And like I told those guys, our season ended Friday against Stringer. We played them in the playoffs, and I told them guys, hey, we right back to work Monday. So we in the weight room today, getting ready for year 3. Yes, sir.
That's right, Coach, and that's awesome. You were here at Terry. I believe you were here at Terry right before Mount Olive. Is that right, or did you go somewhere else between?
So when I left here, I went to Scott Central.
Okay.
I went to Scott Central. I was the OC there for a year, and I almost made it to we was one game away from going to South State. We lost. We went 9-3 that year, and Riley put us out. And then after Scott Central, that's when I got the opportunity to go and be the head coach at Mount Olive.
Yep.
So when I left here, I was the OC at Scott Central.
Okay, awesome. Well, Coach, just talk about what you gathered from working here at Terry and working with the guys at that point in time. Talk about that a little bit.
Man, I always tell people all the time, man, I'm gonna be forever indebted to Coach Penn. You know what he did at the time. I was a position coach. I was matter of fact, I was working with Coach Vance, one of my mentors, who I just think the world of. I was at Hattiesburg. I was the O-line coach, and Coach Penn gave me the opportunity to be a coordinator. You know what I mean? And I was talking to somebody today. I said, man, without Terry, I'm not where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? And, man, I learned a lot from Coach Penn. The things that I learned from him is his preparation. You know what I'm saying? His the biggest thing is, man, how organized he is. He's very methodical now. You know what I'm saying? And the way he goes about his business, how he prepares. But the biggest thing I took from him is like his relationship he has with the players. The different things that he does in the community. I remember a lot of the things that we did. It was a couple times where we did like father and son, the father and son catch before the game. He does the pictures with the moms, those type of events. It's a numerous events that he did that I just love. He's all about family. You know what I'm saying? And that's some of the same stuff that I do now. And it's actually funny because a lot of his offensive system and my system are pretty much the same thing. Like as far as the hand signals, I haven't told him that I still do the same. I still do those same signals and stuff, signaling plays that I did from when I left here. So he'll be glad to hear that. So man, he's been a blessing in my coaching career, and I'll be forever indebted to him and thankful for what he taught me.
Yeah, for sure. Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Nelson of Mount Olive with us here now. And folks, the South 78 Football Show brought to you by Good Eatin.
Stripper.
Yep. And you do the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So, folks, here we are. The South 78 Football Show continues, brought to you by the Good Eatin here in Byram, Mississippi. I'm your host, Trellis Williams. Right here with me is Coach Striblin, and he does the All-Star game. And talk about that a little bit with the Magnolia Sports Association. Talk about your role with this and what you guys do. Just tell the viewers.
Man, first of all, it's nice to meet you finally.
Yeah,
I
for sure,
see you
for
online
sure.
all the time, bro. Nice to meet you. But what we do is, man, we provided a platform, the first platform, because I saw some stuff today online. I saw, what? But we provided the first platform ever with public and private school athletes in the whole state of Mississippi. What we wanted to do was we don't double pick kids like from the other All-Star game. We used to be labeled as the best of the rest in the top the top private school kids. So, so that's what built our nucleus on our game. And what makes us different is we started out with the Senior Bowl. Me and Coach Thigpen actually started the Senior Bowl together. When we first started, it used to be the Magnolia North-South All-Star game. But we were just like, that sounds too cliche. It's already a North-South game in the state. So I took it a little further and started naming it Senior Bowl, kind of like the Reese's Senior Bowl, because there was nothing that represents everybody under one umbrella.
Yep.
So we put that together, man. But what makes us different is, like I said, we actually put the top private school kids with the public school kids.
Yep.
And we let the coaches not only select their staffs, but we also put them in the kids in a draft pool, and they select their roster. So it don't be north-south. It be wherever the kids fall. You know what I'm saying?
And that's pretty cool. And I know that you guys don't just do football, don't you? Guys do basketball as well.
We do basketball and baseball and softball weekend.
That's right.
We do the Magnolia All-Star Weekend, which is the basketball weekend. And like I said, we do the same format, which is seniors and super sophomores. But we also do the 8th grade platform now, which is the Future Elite. So every sport that we do got 3 tiers to what we're doing. And we put the 2-year split in between everything, as far as like where if you don't make it this year, well, now you got another year to put some film together to hopefully make it the following year after you put your film year together. So it's 8th grade, 10th grade, seniors, everything but the baseball and softball game, because the baseball and softball game, they already be done graduated by the time it's time to do the All-Star game. So we do the top 10th graders and we do the 8th grade. So we do the top 10th and 11th graders in the 8th grade. Excuse me. Yep.
So how do you guys select the players? Like, what is the information that you gather in order to select the players?
One thing, first of all, when we first started it, I remember me and Coach Thigpen first brought it out. They reached out to us, and we used to just get whatever coaches that was coaching in the game. That's kind of like how we put it together, because we put this together in a month and a half.
That's right.
First time ever doing
Okay, gotcha.
And so whatever coach was in the game, that helped us pick the kids. But as it kept going on and the demand for it got higher, we started doing a nomination. So now it's like the players, parents, or the kid can nominate themselves, but you gotta have film, you gotta have your stats updated, and having all that, it gives you a jump on any other people that would be nominated for the game. So the way we go with it now, that it's such a high demand now, we go first, okay, of course, the information that's out there. If you're a top player in the state and you didn't make the Mississippi, Alabama, or the Benoit Blackwell, of course, you're a first option. If we go to you leading the state in any categories, we're gonna check all that on the Max Preps and the
That's right.
What's the other one? Max Preps and
Scorebook Live.
Scorebook Live. I was gonna say Scout.com. That's back in our time, but Scorebook Live. And we with that first. Okay, now you leading categories in that. Of course, the top 5 to 10 in that. Automatic invites, you know what I'm saying? Because, of course, you're showing your dominance in the state.
Yep.
Now, if you somebody that don't upload your films and stuff, or don't keep your huddle uploaded, or don't keep your max preps and stuff updated, you might be behind the curve a little bit, because them the first people, of course, you're going to go see them people. Then what we started doing is we had over 800 nominations this year. So it's no way we can miss nobody. We had over 800 total nominations. In the 8th grade, it was over 200 just 8th grade. It's 300 sophomores, and then it was the rest of them was spread out amongst the seniors. So what we did was we go through the top guys in the nomination form, and we fill in the rest of them slots. Then I build an alternate list of man, if I could have just got him in, but when somebody drop out, I'd reach out to this person first. So we got a great format of how we do it now. It took some years to get it like that.
Yeah.
Because it used to just be sporadically just trying to pick the best players and they don't get in the game, and then now we just putting anybody in there. But we wanted the value of the game to look like what it really is, the best of the rest. So to be able to do that, to keep the integrity in that, and to keep the integrity and people, the coach didn't do it. Well, guess what? We letting you, if you as a parent or a player didn't nominate yourself, you can't be a top player in the state then, and you can't really want this opportunity, and you're not overlooked if you're not putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely. Say, hey, Coach, we appreciate you joining us and being able to explain to our audience what you guys do. And it sounds like an awesome thing. Sounds like a really exciting thing as well for a lot of these athletes. So we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate y'all, man. And great job y'all are doing with this platform. We're going to keep on rolling and to put the exposure with these kids out, bro, because it takes stuff like this to really show the whole picture of how this goes. So I appreciate y'all once again.
Absolutely.
Yes,
good to have you on the show, folks. And I think that will wrap up the South 78 football show this week, folks. It is playoff week, and the Terry Bulldogs will head down to Pascagoula to the coast to take on the Pascagoula Panthers. First round of the playoffs. How about that? South 78 crew will be in the building. We'll be in the building. And we'll be bringing it to you live, Lord willing. It will be right here on the TSJW Network YouTube channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and share. Also, like and share the link to the game that will be coming up on Friday, and share it with anyone who would be interested. If you can't make the trip, you want to watch the game. Appreciate you joining us. This is the South 78 football show brought to you by the Good Eatin. We appreciate the Good Eatin. Folks, those wings are good. I'm about to get some right now. We out.